Hi, I'm Tim, and this is my son TC. We're with All Around Trail Horses in Tucson, Arizona. Yeah, I'd been working on fiber optics and gone all the time and living in motel rooms and stuff, and the boys was getting older. And we had some money saved up and stuff, and I took a job with the Utes in Colorado, supposedly. So anyway, I loaded up the boys and some colts, and we headed for the Utes and got to Mancos, the dads, and the job never come through. So Dad said, "Why don't you go to Tucson and work for me in Tucson?" You know, we didn't plan on staying. We were just coming for the summer. That was in 2000, 25 years ago, almost 26 years ago, and we're still here. We ended up buying the company from Dad, and of course his health went bad and he passed away. We found a home here, and I was raised up in the I was raised up doing the horse stuff and trail rides and stuff, and so I kind of got an idea how it works. So they just kind of fell in, and Tucson's been really good to us. We're actually at our place in Benson, Arizona right now. We bought this place, I don't know what, 6 years ago, 8 years ago? Five years ago. We built the barndominium on it, so anyway, we call Benson home now.
It's the Dun Roman Ranch.
It's the Dun Roman Ranch.
Dun Roman.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Dun Roman Ranch we call it. We're Dun Roman. You know, we've always ventured out in the summertime. It's too hot here in the summer to do much with horses. And then horses, they like to go north too. They like to get out of the heat. No, most of them will go, and what we don't use, we'll put them out on leases at different stables up north. Like some of them will go to Colorado. We've had some of them go to Utah. Some of them will go to New Mexico. They just kind of go all over.
Yeah, usually the mares and colts that we have that year will go to their place in Mancos.
Cooler temperature, and then they can get turned out on the pasture. And them colts can start learning some stuff on them pastures. You keep them in the pen or in the corral or whatever, they don't learn much. Get them turned out where they got to learn to survive on their own a little bit. It makes a lot better horse. But we'd have weaned the colts probably like in September, which like we always do.
Yeah.
Because in the fall, we'll need them mares to go to work to start packing people again. So we can get by with them through the summer, without them through the summer, but there's some fall rides that we do that are pretty big rides, and so it's all hands on deck on them deals. So we wean the colts and leave the colts up there, and then bring the mares down here first and do the job with them, and then like we said, we'll bring the colts back with us after hunting.
They meet the donkeys when they get back.
Yeah, they get to meet the donkeys.
The donkeys are their friends when they get here, because they don't have much of a choice about it. But we put them with the donkeys, and we'll start halter breaking them and getting them to where we can handle them a lot better, and that way we can mess with them hands-on more. Even though they've already been pretty well desensitized with my mom, that's kind of what she does in the summertime with up there in Colorado with them. She'll just go out there in the pasture with a grain bucket, and they'll all just kind of surround her, and she just gets to petting on them and mulling on them.
Grain bucket, grain bucket,
Yeah.
grain bucket.
Grain bucket, grain bucket, grain bucket. So from the time they're born, like when them colts start hitting the ground, we usually have them up there at Saguaro, and we'll keep them in their own pen for a day or two before we kick them out with the rest of the other babies and mamas. Within that time, they've probably been touched by 20, 30 different people, from the riders coming in and
the guests
petting on them and stuff. So that from day one, they're getting a hand on them. Sure. Oh yeah, anybody that steps on the place has a part in.
Everybody wants to see the baby colts.
So that we use that to our advantage. Teaches them, people, human contact's not as bad as it seems when they're born,
Then round 2, then we start riding them. Depending on the horse, where he's at with his matureness and stuff, then we'll start working with him. We'll start getting people on him, and guys wranglers on him, and start riding him a little bit. Start working them in. What sets our horses apart from everybody else that's in the business, in my opinion, is not only that But the crossbreds, most of them are crossbreds, crossed with the Belgian or Percheron or whatever they're crossed with. A lot of guest ranches and different outfits, like they'll just run in the summertime, and then their horses will get the winter off. They just feed them for the winter and they're not doing nothing. But our horses don't get the winter off. They're working, they're marching. So that makes a lot of difference. Wet saddle blankets make good horses. So they go to the canyon or on them leases in the summer, and they're marching and working, and then they come to Tucson. They get some time off. We rotate them or whatever we need to do with them, but they're still moving, they're still going. They don't have the winter off. So I think that's a lot to do with it, and not only because of the crossbreds, but they're always busy. They're always doing something.
And we utilize them in different aspects of besides just trail riding,
Yeah.
trail rides and leasings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like there's a handful of them horses up there that we team rope on in competition. There's a crossbred mare up there we call Shirley. I've heeled on her at jackpot ropings since she was a 3-year-old. We don't just do one thing with them. They do parades, they do cattle drives, they do wagon rides, they trail rides. We pack them. We use them to catch wild cattle. We use them for everything, and not just certain ones. We use them all for all of it. Yeah, we've done some movies with a bunch of them. Shirley's been in some movies. Sky, Marie Laveau. We provided horses I think it would have been 2 years ago. We got a call from some friends of ours in Wickenburg at the Flying E Guest Ranch, and they had been approached to host the Ultimate Cowboy Showdown hosted by Trace Adkins, and it was their all-star season, and they needed a bunch of horses for it, for some of the challenges, and we ended up being the ones chosen to take pretty much all of our horses up there for 2 of the challenges.
We took like 40 head up there?
40 or 50, yeah. They do it all. They do it all because kind of like that comment that was made earlier, the people petting on them and stuff all the time, that builds their confidence. And that's the thing about our horses is they're very confident in themselves. They know that they can do whatever we put in front of them. And we know they can do it too.
And that goes back to using them. Using them year round. They don't get the winter off. They don't get the summer off. They're going, they're marching.